Beauty is not limited to our outside appearance. It's inside us. It's our professional lives and our personal passions. It's in our health and wellness, our families, friends, and loved ones. Ask Us Beauty Magazine is content designed to educate, empower, and inspire individuals on all things beauty and wellness. We do this by bringing together people of all backgrounds to share their stories, leaving you with inspiration for living your best life. Whether it's through products, services, procedures, and personal brands, we challenge the status quo. Our mission is to change the narrative, allowing each and every one of us to define beauty on our own terms. Visit us today at AskUsBeautyMagazine.com. Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow, so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest lives in Dallas, Texas with her 3 children and husband, Ben. High school sweethearts, they have been together since they were 16 years old, have founded and scaled multiple organizations over the last 15 plus years. They are the founders of the Gents Place and Rascal, 2 iconic brands in the men's grooming and personal care industries, along with Operation Gentleman, a 501c3 that serves both our veterans and Dallas homeless communities. She is passionate about making a positive impact and loves hearing stories from those that spend their most precious resource, time, making Dallas a better place for all. And on that note, Silhouettes, we have something special that she's going to share with you, a new endeavor that she's recently launched. So we'll let her kind of give that away here in a second. Without further ado, Silhouette, let's help welcome Lauren Davis to the show. Hello, Lauren.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It is thrilling to connect with you. I think there should be confetti cannons going off.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yes. So impressive. Everything watching you throughout this journey. And there's so much more that I know you didn't include in that bio. You just light up the world. But let's give you the stage here for a second and allow you to share and help illustrate the shaping of your silhouette of success by letting you share more with our audience about your background.
Sure, yeah. I'm just, an everyday gal from the country. I grew up in Canyon Lake, Texas. Mom, dad, sister. I guess an average American broken home, a little bit of divorce, a little bit of addiction in there that shaped kind of my grit in childhood. Had a lot of people come into my life at times when I needed it, showed me God. I was an athlete in high school. We won a state championship in high school softball, and my coaches were some of the strongest Christians I had ever met, and made a huge impact, on my life and shaped kind of who I am and where some of my drive came from. Lost my dad young in a car accident. He was drinking and driving when I was 18. Last time I saw him was at my high school graduation. I luckily still have my mom here, and, just a product of trying to do the best with what life had given me and trying to just average our family up and kind of break the cycle of unfortunately some of the typical American, family brokenness. So I never waste anything. I say God wastes nothing. And so I don't either. And just used every bit of my life to get me where I'm at today. I feel like even the worst of the worst times are some of the best learning times. So, went to college. One of the first people in my family to go to college. Went to fashion school first to New York City. Never been there before in my entire life. And my mom dropped me off there and said, good luck. We didn't really have money to go around, like shopping for colleges. I think everyone was just excited I wanted to go to college. And kind of one of my greatest gifts my parents gave me was they never told me no. So I never really felt limited. We didn't have a lot of money, but I never really felt limited in anything. And went there, realized after a couple of semesters that might be a lot of debt that I'm not ready to take on. And my husband and I stayed together and came back to Austin, and then eventually up to North Texas area. So got it here, and 3 kids and married, and we'll be married 18 years this summer. So pretty fast and furious kind of growing up.
Okay, girl, I already have half a page of notes. Just such an interesting journey so far for you, and all that I've never heard, and it stopped me when I was taking notes on what, all of your thoughts here. Average our family up.
Mhm.
That's a profound statement.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just stop and pause. Good for you. And never feeling limited. Wow. So I wonder, if do you share that same philosophy with your children? Is that something that you're passing on?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I tell my kids all
Yeah.
the time, very real. I was very young having kids. I was married and then had kids. So, we've kept our family together and done everything, in a good order. But I was, 20, I think 21, almost turning 22 when I had my first child. I graduated college in August and had Benjamin in September, and he's, approaching 17. And I've always told them, I said, past 18, that gap is yours to close. I'm going to do my best. My parents did their best, and I'm going to try to do better. But I certainly am going to miss something. So that is your responsibility to close the gap of whatever you think I missed. Because I could do everything right and traumatize you by perfection and not teaching you how to fail properly. So I've just been telling them since they were very little just to take ownership of whatever they may feel I'm lacking, because I just noticed through my life and in times that I struggled was when I wasn't taking responsibility for where I was at in life. If I didn't like where I was, I have no right to blame it on my parents or how I grew up or on and on. I mean, you can just sing that song all you want, but it just holds you back. So I've tried to burn that in their brain, because I was like, I promise you I've messed something up. I promise.
That's such a fascinating lens that you see that through. And you're right. You can sing that sad song and deflect all the responsibilities and not take any accountability. And that's just such an easy place sometimes to fall, but it's miserable. It's a hamster wheel.
Oh, it's the easiest place to fall, and it
Wow.
is the most miserable. I totally agree.
Wow. Oh, goodness gracious. That is amazing. Amazing. Okay. So I'm going to skip around here because so much of what you've shared with me jumps straight into some other questions. And one of those, given what I observe and have, watched you and what the audience has just learned in listening to you and hearing some of your bio, where do you think the influence for so much of you have such a, you've taken a path deep into service to the community? And you might have touched on some of that from what you've shared with your background, but where do you think that influence comes from for you?
Well, gosh, I think it comes from not just experiencing my dad go through his addictions and ultimately taking his life, and just seeing how that destroyed, their marriage and our family at times. It was through the processing of it. So after my dad died, I was very confused. I just didn't understand addiction. So I would go by myself to Al Anon classes when I was in college. I found a local chapter, and Al Anon are for families of alcoholics. There's AA for the alcoholic or the drug addict, and then you have Al-Anon for the family. And so I just sat in that room week after week and listened to these mothers and wives and daughters and people like myself just in so much pain for their loved one. And it just gave me such a profound understanding that, someone's addiction or circumstance or, apply any of it is not who they really are, who they're intended to be. It's not who they woke up that morning and wanted to be. It's just where they're at. And although we can't enable them, but I can have a sincere compassion for them and empathy by, separating out the addiction from the person and understanding that these addictions, are of the devil and they're there to just destroy someone from the inside out and then therefore destroys everything around them. So I just stopped, wishing him to just get sober. It's just not that easy. And just started to heal from it. And it just gave me a place and perspective to where I can be in a room full of people in trauma and pain and not re-traumatize myself and able to serve because I can get outside of my own pain and use it. So it's been a process, but it's nice to be on this side.
It rendered me speechless on this point because so many things, I'm such a visual and I'm just, seeing you, if you will, in my head, as you're describing your journey and your placement within those times of your life, along your Silhouette of Success journey, and just the courageousness that you either found or you had, and you mentioned grit early on, for you to take ownership for yourself and to go be where you can find some answers. And so young, really. I mean, think about it. That's just amazing that you did that. It's equipped you with so much to move forward. This just goosebumps, girl.
Oh, it's so sweet of you. And
Wow.
it's all fine and easy to talk about when you're not in the midst of it, right? This is on the other side of it, and there'll be other,
Yes.
dips in the road, certainly. And so it's nice when you can enjoy these reflections during these times. But yeah, it was really wasn't easy. I just had to bust through so many comfort zones, but just learning how to bust through comfort zones is, I think, directly contributed to my level of success I've achieved to date.
Yes.
Is because I refuse to stay comfortable and I make a point like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. I may be feeling irritable. What is it? What is it that I'm not doing that I want to do? That's usually my next question. I'm like, oh, it's because I'm nervous about this, or I don't think I'm going to do good at this speech, or I'm nervous about taking that opportunity. And then I just go, oh, we're just going to break through. And then you're like, oh, I could do that. That wasn't so bad. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is shocking. It's easier than I thought.
Yeah, good for you. And you're able to pass that forward. And so again, now I'm at a full page, and you're passing light already. So let's look at a day in the life of your current, on the other side, and with everything that you've got going on in these amazing businesses and family life and all these beautiful things that you're doing to serve. The alarm clock goes off. Your work day or business day begins. What does a day in the life look like for you? And as these best practices, we observe each other. Are you structured with a routine? What's that look like? Or are you more spontaneous?
I'm routine-ish. I've got, I've got guardrails, and then the rest in the middle is a little spontaneous. That's, probably one thing I'm struggling with right now is that, I stepped out this last year and ran for public office because I just wanted to see change in my community that I wasn't seeing. And that expanded my capacity to work. And so now I find myself at that same capacity to work. And so then I'm just filling it in with all different things. I'm trying to get reset and get a little more structured and maybe subscribe to the time blocking calendar because there's things I want to get done in the day that maybe I don't always get done. I think, I get a lot done, but it always feels better when it's structured and organized. And I cannot say that I'm that, but I manage to get it all in. So I wake up, I get the kids ready. We've got, 3 kids, making sure they're all trying to become adults. We're at that point where I'm like, you've got to brush your own hair. You didn't leave time for your lunch, or how come you didn't eat? Because you didn't wake up on time. So we're doing all that routine in the morning. I drop them all off to school. And then, right now I'm renovating my home. So I'll go check on that. Doing a few things there. Then I'll just have various meetings. I've got my new video podcast that I'm doing. So I work on finding a meeting with booking guests. Our Gents Place, I manage all the construction. So I check in on a new construction project we have. I've got a really cool fashion line. I'm starting with my friend for conservative fashion forward dresses for women. So I'll check in on that. So I do a lot of things. I have lots of big projects moving forward. And so I just try to touch them every day. I'm helping out with a bunch of city council races in my local community, trying to help empower everyday people like myself to get involved. It's not so scary. You can do it. So I'll be block walking here soon and helping with that. So I just try to touch everything I can to keep them all moving forward. Sometimes things go fast and sometimes they go slow, but they get done.
That's amazing. Yes, you did expand your capacity to work. Oh my goodness. So thinking through, I have a bullet list now of, as you were sharing, I was bullet listing here. Any of these things, if you pick one or pick something that you're working on that this might resonate to help break down, if you get stuck, maybe it's just in general, trying to achieve that goal or dream, and you're stuck and there's a seeming barrier between you and something, do you have any best practices that work for you that you'd like to share or talk about?
Sure. Yes. When I'm feeling stuck, and it really applies to just anything. One, I usually find someone to talk to, and that's my husband. I'm like, you know what? I just say, I'm like, I'm feeling really stuck right now. I'm, you know, irritated. I'm not breaking through on something and this and that, just you name it. It doesn't even have to be something specific. It all applies. And we just sort of go back and forth talking and just trying to find that point that's holding me up. And it usually is something so silly. Is it that I don't feel confident in a skill that I need to get something done? Do I need to learn something in order to get through that? Do I just need to sit down and do it because it's a bunch of little tasks that I just don't feel like doing and I keep finding something more important? I mean, I feel like every time I've felt, quote, stuck, which it feels really big, once you sit down and talk to somebody about it, it's real small. And you're like, oh, darn it. I'll just do it right now, and then you feel better. And it could be even as simple as, I know there's 3 baskets of laundry that I got to do and I just don't want to do them. It can cause you to feel stuck in so many different areas of your life and you don't even realize it's unrelated.
Peel back that onion.
Yeah, yeah. Peel it back and it
And
might
it's
just be a load of
laundry.
laundry. It
Oh,
really could be.
okay, solve problems, world problem solved. Everybody do a load of
It's just
laundry.
never as big as you think it is. It just really
Yeah.
isn't. If
Yes.
this is the number one thing, it's
Mhm.
never as big as you make it in your head. It only
Yeah.
stays big when you keep it in your head. So just get it out.
Get it out. Oh, love that, girl. As an independent business owner, where do you find support?
Well, my husband and I, we do everything together in business. I mean, we each have our own little projects here and there, but the bulk of what we do, we depend on each other a lot. And then outside of that, we have, just guess each have our own few people that we can go and bounce ideas off of, or just say, like, this isn't working well. Can I talk to you about it? Just, you always have to have those people around you to where you can get things out. When you keep things internal, like I just said, they grow, but they stay unsolved. It's hard to figure things out when you're just thinking in your head. So him and I, we really depend a lot on each other. I love coffee. So usually Saturday mornings, because now the kids aren't little, so they don't always have games first thing in the morning unless my son has cross country. So Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, we usually hang out in bed and drink coffee and just catch up and talk through any like business problems or hurdles we're having.
This might also, maybe it's a great segue. How do you recharge and rest your mindset after like an emotional, exhausting situation, project, or day? And maybe you just answered it.
Yeah, yeah. Coffee,
Coffee in
drinking a
bed?
stimulant, not a good idea. I'm trying to cut my caffeine. um, so sometimes I'll take like a power nap if it's been like really intense. Like when I was doing the campaigning, I was like, oh, I need like 20 minutes. I got to close my eyes and
Mm.
and just restart. I'll do that. When the weather's nice, I love nothing more than a long, walk on one of the trails around here. North Haven Trail, super cool in Dallas. I love that crisp air that we're about to all start getting to have that spring weather. Those are probably two of my favorite things. Coffee in bed and a walk are my decompressors. I should work out more than I do. That comes and goes.
Hey, those walks count.
Yeah, right?
Completely count, right? They
I'm
do.
not
They
trying
do.
to
Absolutely.
They do. And I'm not trying to be a size anymore. I left that in my early 20s, and I'm just trying to stay functional through the rest of my life where I can touch my toes and
Yeah.
stay upright.
Well, so let's talk about something really fun. And you mentioned it earlier, and I teased in your intro. Talk to us about, and I don't call it new and upcoming anymore because you are doing it. You're new. You talked about the video podcast TV show, is what I had it. For the Love of Dallas with Lauren Davis, building empowered communities. Dive into the inspiration that led you to create it. And congratulations, I saw the first episode released. Have you done more since?
Yes, I've got 4 in the
Wow.
queue now, getting ready
Yay.
to, they're all being produced and all the things, they have to get all pretty before we put them out. So we should be on a regular schedule here in the next week. So I'm very excited. It's definitely another, breakthrough, something I hadn't done before. But as I've kind of moved through the community and went through my campaign season of getting active in my local community through local government, I just realized there's just so many beautiful communities. They're all diverse. They're all interesting. And one huge connector was community service. No matter what edge of Dallas County I went to, or where I've gone in any of the world, is that community service and serving in the community just breaks down all barriers. And so I wanted to highlight that and highlight people who donate their time. Time is our greatest resource. We all were given the exact same amount, 24 hours. And there's nothing else in the world like that. And we were given 24 hours. We don't even know how many days we have on this earth, but we know in a day, essentially, we have 24 hours. And so some people spend it all different, and then your life might end up in a different road. So I just want to highlight people who were so gracious with their time and either devoted their careers to service, or someone who founded a nonprofit, someone who had a life-changing event, like one of my first guests, Corey Borner, life-changing event. And instead of being self-loathing and victim, he turned it around and has used his whole life for service. We'll be talking to people who are just tried and true everyday volunteers who they aren't the CEO, they didn't know they're a founder, but they're that person who just showed up every day and made the whole thing work. It's just, I think that if we can increase our time donated across the world, really, it'll inevitably make it a better place. Just volunteering at the homeless shelter for the last almost 5 years, doing a pop-up barbershop, has been transformative for our family. So I just want that for other families. I want to get people access to knowing and getting connected to organizations. And that's not really that easy. You hear of the big ones, cancer this or that, which those are great and they serve their purpose. But there's a lot of just smaller organizations that are lifting up communities in a huge way that, people might really connect with and go serve and give their time. So I just thought it would be really cool to talk to these people every week and get to know them and know more like-minded people who are service oriented.
It's spectacular. It's such a brilliant concept and idea. But moreover, you've brought it to life. So from me to you, thank you for doing what you're doing on that. Can I have you share a little bit more about Operation Gentleman? serving the veterans in the Dallas. You mentioned it a second ago as a pop-up. Can you talk more about that for the audience?
Yes, yeah. So my husband and I started Operation Gentleman several years back, and it started off, we have 3 initiatives, and it started off as our first one was solely focused on veterans. We do an annual suit drive and other, business clothing once a year in all of our barbershops. We have them across the country. We have 11 open right now, from Chicago to San Antonio, Austin, Houston, all over DFW, and so on. And so every September, our clients, who are mostly men, which we need more women stuff too, it's just something that we haven't grown into yet, is they'll come in September and bring in their gently used suits. And then in November, we go down to Fort Hood, which is I think it's the largest Army base in the country. And we go down to their soldier recovery unit, and those are for the soldiers who are transitioning out of the military for medical reasons into civilian jobs, usually mid-level management jobs. They've received a lot of training. We all too often see our veterans homeless on the streets because they don't integrate back into civilian life, or you name it, PTSD, mental illness, physical disability, just you name it. And so this program helps avoid anyone going there, right? So they arm them up. So we bring them sometimes their first civilian clothing, work clothing, that they've had. Suits are very expensive. And so when you've been in your military gear your whole life, that you usually probably don't own a suit for work. So we do that. Super cool, huge shopping event, just a lot of fun. All of our team comes down. The soldiers are some of the most humble, grateful people I've ever met. It's just super cool to serve in that manner. And then we expanded it to meals for homeless veterans. So we have a partnership where we run different incentives within the year to get people to donate meals for homeless veterans. And then all of our annual memberships provide a meal for a homeless veteran. I think we're approaching, it's got to be near 35,000 so far through a partnership we have. And then our pop-up barbershop once a month, every second Sunday at Austin Street Center. We do that, where we just, gather as a beauty industry community and go down and put on a really cool, high energy, positive place for people to become transformed physically, and which ultimately ends up emotionally and spiritually once a month. And so all on my social, I usually post transformations. People cry. They're so happy. We've had people come in whose hair is just matted, and you cannot walk into a normal everyday salon and have that taken care of. And the shelter really doesn't have the capacity to take care of it. So we fill that gap. And this one gentleman, we cut all the mats out of his hair and cleaned him all up, trimmed his beard. He wanted to keep his beard, so we braided it so it'd stay nice and neat. And he cried. He just cried. I mean, it just changed his whole life. It was unbelievable. So that is what we do.
Oh my gosh. You have me tearing up, and I've seen some of the, the magic and the transformations and some of, the socials, marketing and things that you're doing, but it pales in comparison to hearing it directly from you, from the life and source where this is all coming from. So again, thank you.
Yes,
And your
yes,
husband
we
and your
love it.
team, and from a military family and extended family, it just really is beautiful. So thank you all. Oh my goodness, girl, I am watching the clock, and there were some other just general questions that I was going to ask you, but everything that you're sharing is so much more important than any of those, if you will, because we are
Yeah.
learning organically the answers to some of the general sample questions with just by letting you share who you are and just so much of what you're doing. As we begin to wrap up here, I've got 2 more questions if you have a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we all crave great resources, and just maybe it's books or genres of books or resources of podcasts or anything that really resonates or helps you and lifts your spirits, or anything that you turn to Do you have any favorites that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes, yeah. Some of my favorite books. I'm a huge Audible person. Once I realized I just needed to listen to Audible, then I started just taking in all kinds of information because I just didn't have time to sit down and read with kids and work and all those things. So I'm in the car a lot. So one book that I just loved was Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath. Just a great story about turning your weakness into a strength. Or is it really a weakness, right? It's all these people who've used something that seemingly uh, look like an illness or a disability or whatever, and it directly related to their success. So it's like many stories of that. That's one that just stuck out to me. And then I've read everything from spirituality books to books on Catholicism. I'm a Catholic. I love my religion and my faith. I haven't always had it, and so now that I have it, I don't let it go. So I just read books about that. Another book that was interesting was Hillbilly Elegy. That's another one that just, it's not like a self-help book, but when you hear other people's stories, it's just so inspiring. And that was just a great story of overcoming. And then I'm just a huge personal and professional development person. So Brene Brown to Tony Robbins. I mean, I've gone to his conferences and walked on the fire and did all the things. You just got to find your author, your person, and that could be anybody. But as soon as you find them, then it's like a whole journey. But I loved Brene Brown for a long time.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Lauren, it has been phenomenal visiting with you today. And as we begin to wrap up, keeping the promise to share intentional inspiration with the audience, do you have a piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share, something that resonates with you or that you hang on to?
Sure. I mean, I hang on to when I'm just, it's just been a year of a lot of breakthroughs. So I just constantly tell myself, just push through, like just get through. It's not complicated. It's not a long sentence. It's just like, just do it. Like, do you want the life on the other side or do you not? And so it just comes with conversations with myself. And it usually amounts to, come on, Lauren, just do it. Just get to it. And then I'm always like, wow, that was amazing. So just break through. Just tell yourself, break through. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, milady. All right. The stage is completely yours here. Where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials or contact information and support you in all of your continued success?
Yes. So my website for my show is fortheloveofdallas.com. All of my socials are under Davis for Dallas. Those are my business pages. And then Lauren Davis, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Moms Love Freedom. Just a little freedom loving mom over here. So that's my Twitter handle. It's more of my political stuff. And then the Gents Place, Operation Gentleman, all of those have websites as well.
Excellent. And we will be sure and share all of those resources so the audience can go support and find and connect with you in everything you're doing. We'll put those links in the resource section of the show notes. So they've got those for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, Lauren, it has been, again, an immense honor and pleasure visiting with you as you share a portion of your silhouette of success. So thank you once again. You are a genuine, brilliant light for all of us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.